Everybody, clearing. Okay, so this is going to be a what are the counterparts learning from each other? What are the connective energies? So all I can hear today as I begin this reading is if you are connected to a person, that's exactly the frequency that you are a match for. That can be elusive. It doesn't necessarily look like a surface energy straight across thing. The deeper lessons, the aha moments come over time. So I'm really getting that the feminines are having sexual awakenings and the masculines are having spiritual awakenings. So let's see what the cards say. And this can be a theme at this time, but let's have a look. I'm going to go into a connection spread to see what the overview looks like. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the collective that joins me here? Feminines on the left, masculines on the right, and future potentials. Okay, the Hierophant, we have the spiritual downloads here. So sacred sexuality and spirituality in general coming through. For the feminines, we have Princess of Pentacles, kindness of self. So everything you're going through right now, feminines, you are learning how to take the focus off the external and really make it where it counts. Thinking about the things first person. This is interesting because so many messages in the last few months that I've seen in the collective private reads myself, we're dropping the personal association when we feel other people's energy coming to us. We're not so much telling ourselves that we feel that way. We're understanding that we're picking up on how others feel and we're filtering it through our lens, triggers, whatever it may be, depending on how healed you are. But when you have somebody come towards you, you're feeling the energy that they're in. On the flip side, we're so curious about what others are up to that this is a reminder, what are you up to? Any question you can ask about another is relevant to ask yourself. And so feminines are learning this. This is a difficult thing to flip-flop what we think we know about energy. Being concerned about what other people are thinking and how they make us feel. We should be concerned about what we're thinking and how others feel. It's a beautiful thing. We're learning both. In the segregation templates, we're afraid of others. In the segregation templates, we are foe. In the unity conscious, we see self in other. And so these relationships, connections across the board, romantic, family, friends, work, all of it, strangers, other people, you know, that is a shift. We are going through a major shift, and this is how it plays out in the connections in our lives as twins. So feminines, yeah, catching each thought, taking it captive, looking at it for what it is. The middle energy here is the Hierophant, Magus of the eternal gods. So we are becoming these eternal gods, I just heard. We are embodying our God selves and understanding our creative power, what we bring into this existence, how we utilize our free will to perceive the things we are experiencing and, you know, embody the wisdom regarding that so that we're finding the appropriate way. We have great power we can channel if we learn to direct that energy in the appropriate ways. And so this is the channeling into the world when we look at things through the eyes of love and we respond in kind. What are the masculines dealing with? Queen of Cups in the inverse and the universe, the great one of the nighttime. Well, I was up last night, so possibly the masculines were also doing a lot of soul searching last night. Take it how it resonates. This is a deep intuitive dive into the heart, matters of the heart. Why do I feel what I feel? Why does my soul stir so? That's what I just heard. So masculines are having another level of revelation about the love here and about how they do have profound love, how this connection is so otherworldly, it's so phenomenal, and it is bringing them up into a new way of looking at this connection, all connections. They're learning so much through the way that you navigate this. Divine feminines, divine masculines, you're learning so much. Divine feminines are learning so much about their own energy through this experience, and you're learning so much about the energetics of love and spiritual things. What can we see going forward? Four of Pentacles, Lord of earthly power in the reverse. So this is the hoarding, miser, lack kind of card. In the reverse, it's starting to crack open that heart even more. So let's see what the healing is that the feminines are experiencing directly related to you, divine masculine. Okay, the devil energies. 10 of Wands, dropping the burden, the Hermit, and 2 of Wands. So stepping out of comfort zone. You have continually helped the feminines step out of comfort zone. Sometimes the devil has 2 chained lovers that feel bound in a sexual connection, that are like drawn together magnetically. So the sexual pull in your connection has kept them looking for how to eliminate burden and stay focused on their emerging destined star path. There's a lot of sexual tension being removed and choice for you, masculine. Like there has been this awakening from the binding of the flesh, I just heard, and going towards only needing you, only genuinely wanting you, divine masculine, King of Wands. So there is this knowledge that everything that they've gone through, the liberation of the sexual energy, so that they are not distracted by other masculines, so they can stay the course and be fully potent in the world because they're not distracted by sexual tension, I'm getting. This is a massive healing that's happening in the feminines. What can we see for the masculine healing? What is healing for the masculines directly related to their feminine? Things that they could be conscious about. Too many energies being involved, and that this is a soulmate, at very least connection, where they feel such an affinity. This is speaking of that energy that no matter if there is an age difference, a religious difference, a background difference, a family difference, geographic distance, you are their choice. They're feeling this. They're seeing that love wins, that nothing else matters. They have a connection with you. And this healing of their inner child that trusts their own heart to choose wisely for them, that stands up against anybody that would have a say about it, that wouldn't agree. The masculines are choosing this affinity energy with you, and they're learning so much about how to discover what that is for them, despite everything, against all odds. Your love is so pure. It's like a crystal. I'm seeing a wine glass, like a crystal goblet being ting. It's like that angelic purity across the spheres, and that's drawing their heart in. It's bringing them in, feminines. That's the magnetic pull of the purity of how much you really want them. You know, they are feeling it. It's not so crazy after all. In all the world, there's nobody like you. And so they are realizing, they're healing the fact that they didn't think they would find that. They wanted it. They told themselves they wanted it, but they didn't believe it. They were a skeptic. They have settled so many times. They don't want to settle anymore, and they're learning what settling actually is. Okay, what is this doing for... I'm going to get into sacred sexual connection, because we've got the Hermit, and the next cards that I wanted to pull on were the Erotic Tarot again. I'm enjoying these intimate messages that keep coming through. So for the masculines, what is their spiritual, sacred, sexual cutting edge with the intimate energy here? What are they learning about this connection through the lens of the sensual? What can we see for the divine masculines? The Emperor. So lovely. Okay, so here's the Emperor card. So divine masculines, you emperors, you. The Emperor is at home with his power. He can offer you a great deal. Being the boss requires confidence, charm, and a generous nature. Those at the top make it look easy. Come up to the top, even if it was a battle to get there. It also requires imagination. What will you do with your power? What kind of example will you be? So emperors, you're starting to see yourself as having embodied this leadership, this tenacity, your wholeness, your authentic self. So advice, it's your turn to make the decisions. Make sure you know exactly what you want before you give orders. The nicest way to lead someone is by enticing them. So the masculines are getting ready to, I saw a fishing lure. They're getting ready to entice you, divine feminines, and it is their turn to make the decisions. So they are about to step into their leadership in these connections. They're being spiritually guided to do so. And that means curating dates and leading in lovemaking and taking accountability for their heart's choices here, for the stirring of your spirit. They're getting ready to show you that your heart has known wisely, that you haven't been crazy, that the connection, the attraction has been here, and they are getting into their empowerment that way so that they can come through in leadership. Now there is a warning here for divine masculines that I'm being called to read. Even though this didn't come out in the reverse, I'm still being drawn. So beware of all of the above. Possible abuses of power, fear of weakness or indecision, bullying, and sometimes exhaustion. So if your connection has been hot and cold, it's because your emperor has been either dealing with exhaustion from their karmic situation, they have possibly been abusing their power or toying with the idea that they've been using you or abusing their power in some way, but it's been a learning curve because you've been the perfect mirror, the sharpening stone that's helped them find the edge of what an abuse of power looks like and what it is not. Because you are the one that can handle them wholly, they can find that edge with you. And it has taken them beyond any edge they have ever had before. And so that is an incredible thing. Divine masculines, isn't it fabulous that you found somebody that can handle you? And feminines, see it that way, that they've been learning their splendor, their greatness that way. And that's been part of the cycles of back and forth, hot and cold, sharpening. You know, we put the knife on the sharpening wheel and then we pull it off to check it, and then we do that. So yes, this is what the masculines are dealing with. How beautiful. What can we see the feminines are dealing with the sexual intimacy? Four of Feathers. So this is an integration phase. That's a beautiful thing. I was feeling that. I was just laying out in the sun today and integrating specifically the sexual connection and exploration that I've been exploring for the last 14 months or so. I feel like it has been an awakening for me personally, and I actually observed my inner dialogue saying to myself, I've come full circle. I've learned, I've seen this cycle play out. I've now embodied, and sexual tension is no more. I know who I want. I've balanced out. I've overcome my temptations, my flesh. And that has been a very deep dive because, you know, even though we say we want someone, there is a visceral, cellular change that happens when we've embodied that. And it can take a while. If the connection is so intense, it does take actually a while to ground it. So there might be something for you all out there too today, realizing that in the energy. Okay, Four of Feathers for the feminines. A claim staked successfully. That's how I feel. I feel like this sexual claim has been staked, and it took me a while to see it for what it was and to have the ripples of the intensity be integrated so that I can be in balance. Oof. I wish you all that kind of thing. A claim staked successfully. Take some time to rest, recuperate, and reflect, and then you can work a more relaxed and generous angle. Yes. So the intensity of these connections is being balanced out and embodied. So masculines, you have staked a claim. You've energetically awoken your feminine in a sensual way, in a sexual way, likely. Even if you've never made love, the chemistry has been so intense. Remember, all of the twin trajectories of karma, not all are physical. Some are emotional and mental, and it's a spectrum. So regardless of where you are on the spectrum, this process has been, the claim has been staked, and the feminines have been balancing out and getting to this place of continued integration where they're realizing that they can take a more relaxed and generous knowing in these angles, especially regarding the sexual chemistry between the two. So let's see going forward what the counterparts may need to be aware of with this heart opening. What's some advice going forward for the masculines as they open their hearts a little more? So King of Pentacles, that they don't have to have all the answers or have it figured out entirely, that they can just walk forward knowing there is a pure connection and they're committed to this because it keeps adding value to their lives. It is supporting the heart opening as it happens. And this is in the physical, even if it's not in its entirety, it is en route. So the Four of Pentacles goes to the Ten of Pentacles, which is the long term. Oh, and the Wheel of Fortune. So this is the wheel turning. I often will see this Four of Pentacles as a safe combination code on the front of the heart chakra that's being unlocked. And so true connection, you can't fake it. It doesn't disappear. You can't deny it. It is a divinely orchestrated being that two people resonate in enough love to align with the higher timelines, templates. And the masculines know that they're kind of on that roller coaster track. They're securely locked on that track, that template. And so it's about enjoying the ride and watching the revelation is what I'm hearing. Divine masculines. What can we see for the feminines coming up about trusting the process, trusting the journey? Oh yes, Queen of Wands in the reverse. So there is some more integration of your sexual energy and overcoming the flesh, overcoming those devil energies. We get that again. The devil and then the strength card. The strength card comes in when we master, when we overcome the beast and we embody. So I'm hearing in this card the insecurities that you have had in karmic situations where other counterparts, there's been jealousy or insecurity or cheating or lying or all of that. These connections won't have that. No risk of that when they come into union. And what's happening now is there's an energy I can feel in this where the feminines are realizing that this divine counterpart or that true divine love wants you as much as you want them. As unbelievable as that is, this is the one person that wants to be your choice in the crowd. Believe that. They are working on those same worthiness issues for whatever reason that you may not choose them. And so it's time to tell yourself that you're mirroring that kind of insecurity with others, and that when you've had jealousy or competition or games in other relationships, that has been a stark contrast to the insecurity bouncing back and forth. But we're coming down to feeling embodied and secure and knowing that your person wants you as much as you want them. They want you to be the only one in their life as much as you want them to be the only one in yours. That they want to be the most beautiful, sexy, appealing person in the crowd to you, and you want that vote from them. Believe it, feminines. This is a flip of the script to wondering if anyone could feel you that way or want you that way, to knowing that's what you're working on, and it is available here, getting it through the psyche into the heart, that it is what you're in store for here, and it is that they are equally curious if they could be the only one. Look at your connection with this person so far and all of the mixed signals. It's all coming from that place of testing, consciously, subconsciously, mostly subconsciously. I don't want you to think that these divine connections are trickster energies. But as we're going through our insecurity, it can look like we're doing things intentionally, but I'm getting that the masculines haven't been tricking you, divine feminines, but there have been tests. And so it's time to realize that a lot of those mixed signals are coming from the same insecurities that you have. Flip the script and see the mirrored energy there. Let that sink in. Let it open your heart that they haven't been, just toying with you. They've been as earnestly fragile and working on their insecurities to believe that someone like you loves them. Yes, how beautiful. Okay, let's have a daily reading, but let's look at what does this mean going forward for the collective. So on the conscious mind, the heart space, manifestations, actions, challenges, solutions, and direction. What can we see coming up for the twin collective? Oh, got to shuffle it again. So things are, I just saw reciprocity with twin flames. So yeah, there's going to be some good exchanges and sharing coming up. And what are the energetic awarenesses that we can have here? 5D and above for those who are a sucker for that good stuff. Okay, conscious mind. Here's the high priest again. Emotions coming to light, emotional vulnerability, emotional shares, emotional transparency. We're going to start seeing the other person as more like us emotionally than we first suspected. There's going to be more admitting feelings, more secrets of the heart coming to light, more of the vulnerability being shown, more of the bravery being expressed. You're my person. I feel this way. I'm sorry. You make me nervous. I'm insecure. You've rocked my world. I couldn't believe someone like you would want me. You are so beautiful inside and out. I'm crying with this tidal wave of emotion that I feel that's going to be exchanged, where people admit that some of the weirdness has been because they've felt like, why could the other one ever see anything in them? And not only is it just not anything, it's the person. This is the admission that they've never met someone like you, that it's mutual, it's reciprocal. What is the energetic harmonic oscillator? Timing, rhythm, synchronization, and frequency. So we're coming into the frequency where heaven meets earth and it converges, masculine and feminine, where the shadow and the light meet, where the moon is in the sky with the sun at the same time. Watch for that. I just heard that'll be a sign. And it may happen that these conversations come to light in those ways. So yeah, this is a time capsule. I'm not saying that's going to happen for everyone, but that's an interesting message. It could be also that we're still in the eclipse energy and we're starting to see what we learned through the eclipse energy. It's starting to be integrated, that this is our person, that we do love them in practical, grounded ways, and that their actions may have, and this goes vice versa for masculine and feminine, that their actions may have just been because they did not believe that you could truly be feeling the same way as you are. What can we see for the heart space? The soulmate stuff. Pick our heads up. Look at the love, everybody. Reunion energy is here. So there is this magnetic pull coming in for true twins right now. Star body matrix, multidimensional consciousness, holographic information. So we're all doing this together as part of a fractal becoming. And these reunions are all coming together in unison. There is not a finite number of them, and that does not mean they happen all at once. It's a work in progress. So as these cycles go depending on where you're at in the journey and what angle you're working on. We are bringing love to all of it. So some cycles, some I am feeling this is a year for profound permanent union. And so lifelong partnerships, harmonious partnerships are really starting to come in with more ease. What can we see for the manifestations, working together in the physical and dropping into the humility? So yeah, there is some teamwork, camaraderie coming in. Both are contributing equally, and so that's actually bringing a general consensus for the two to show up more in physical. I'm seeing that there is pride being dropped and humility, and people are meeting up, and this can also be just a group setting, so more group events. That means public recognition or at least association with each other in hangouts and events. This can be marriages, so weddings, things like that. It can be the Holy Trinity, where holy matrimony. It can be this equality in the name of the higher love. We have divination, intuition, and inner vision. So that humility is showing that we'd rather be unconditionally loving of this person than alone. That's what I'm getting from that. And it's just a profound knowing on the heart space that doesn't need the other person to show up in any kind of way, that it's just embrace of this sacred evolution that we're all undergoing. What is the action? Yeah, in divine timing, these public shows, not for showing sake, not wearing a mask, but just public recognition, knowledge, acknowledgement of the connections, being seen in public together. Wait for it, everybody. There's going to be more opportunity. When it is appropriate, it will just naturally happen, I'm hearing. Ecstasy, rapture, flux, and amplification. Heart wave resonator. So the heart knows, and the heart, it's seeing wings flapping, like the bumblebee wings flapping. This resonator, this electromagnetic hover that we get when we're, up in the higher gratitudes. We are in the cities where we can levitate, where we're buoyant, where we're effervescent energetically and physically. We're just walking on air. And so that's coming. We're raising the frequency so that these connections can sustain in any setting and not be damaged, not be threatened. And it's not that they ever could have been, but other relationships put us through the ringer that way. And so these connections are coming in, and it's not a punishment that they haven't come in yet. And there was no fear of this level of damage. That's why they haven't been allowed to be physically in the same room enough, or why they haven't been out in the open, is because they have been in safekeeping and in preparation by working through all the angst, the insecurity. And so when they are put in group settings, public settings, it's only permitted when it's authentically safe, when each counterpart feels the love, when they are embodied enough to not have harm or emotional turmoil or uneasiness come into the mix. There's been a reason that while there's still been volatility in the connections, they haven't been able to be in public, because that's where dramas and arguments and pettiness happens. Not in these connections, everybody. What is the biggest challenge for the connections? Overcoming the karma, seeing that these are not karmic relationships. They run by a whole different set of spiritual laws than the karmic things. The karmic things are designed to teach us, to show us, to open our eyes in different ways to what shouldn't be there. These connections are to show us what is the divine, the perfect, the pure. Harmonic order, harmony, cooperation, dynamic interaction. Exactly. There's a sharp contrast, a changeover from karma, seeing what that is, to harmony, and really just receiving that. What is the solution for this challenge? Let the Ten of Pentacles, the long-term success, come in as it's needed. This is the Nine of Wands. That's the not so fast, not just yet. We're still having the revelation of what these long-term successful things will look like, feel like, and we still need to be focusing on life path and mission and purpose. That means cleaning up any karma, making the changes, balancing out, integrating. Let the love sink in so that it fills you up with knowing, no insecurity left. You will know that it's time to engage in these things when you can't feel any qualms left about it. And Temple of Elevated Senses, impeccability, advancement, and loftiness. So exactly, we're all still walking through this rite of becoming, rite of passage, clearing the karma, doing the integration and healing, stepping more on the expression into the world that we are meant to because we've overcome. And what is the direction in the near future? Surrender. So all the falsehoods will come to light, all of the misconceptions. Let everything be there. Don't pretend you're further along with the things that confuse you or are hidden or make you feel uneasy still. Surrender to it. Let it have its way with you so that you know it. So you look it head on and you're honest with yourself. If you're not fully safe inside yet, release it. Look at this open heart chakra. Open up. Don't deny. Don't repress. Don't suppress. Trust the process. Ask it to show you what still needs to be seen and what the function or the layer of it really means. And gate of returning. This is bringing your person back in. Entrance, death, rebirth, and passage. So there is a major cycle closing out. And I do think it's connected with the eclipse energies, that we're coming into realizing that we've just gone through a major transformation in the last year or so, and now we're starting to see the new influence of that emerging, who we've become. Look at how much you've grown in the last year and a half, and continue appreciating exactly the ways that you have transcended those old paradigms and are continuing to feel it ground into your body. Many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.